What is going on, y'all? Hit the floor. It got so damn good. This was one of the best episodes in my opinion. Just my opinion. Because, I actually was able to be home and watch it at the regular time with y'all and tweet. And bitch, I'm sitting here like the bombs dropping and shit. And I was like, oh my God, this is how I used to feel when I used to live tweet with y'all. Like, oh, okay, I feel good. Bitch, next week is the season finale. And that's when we find out who killed Olivia. Top of the video, who do y'all think it killed her? Because like I said, it is so many suspects. And as soon as you get to narrow it down to who did it, who you may think did it, stuff pops up and be like, no, well maybe this person did it or maybe that person did it. So get back into this video. Y'all leave that in the comments and tell me why. And girl, don't do some far out stuff. But I don't think they gonna. Do you think they gonna make it so simple? Do you think it's gonna be somebody that we was like? Cause Oscar is a little bit too simple, if you ask me. We all suspect at one point or another that it was Oscar, that he had something to do with it. So, how is that gonna work? But moving on. So last week, um, Sloan, stupid ass. I'm sorry to say this, girl, but you was done for this, okay? I love you and what you're doing, but this was the dumbest move that you made this whole series, okay? She left the envelope with all the information that and evidence that she had gathered up on Oscar on her desk. Yelena asked, because of Asha, her ass came in there looking for the dancer playbook that Asha said was on her mother's desk in her mother's room. And anyway, and let me turn it off. No interruption this time. Well, no more. So she goes in there, she gets the stuff, finds all the evidence. Okay. Not Yelena, Sloan, she comes up in the room looking for her stuff. And she like, damn, somebody took my shit. And she knocking shit over. Damn, damn, damn. I was waiting for her to do that, and I was waiting for her to do the TT cry. Go look at Set It Off. Y'all will get it. Or the For Color Girls cry. Ugh. When he let them babies go out the window, god damn, my soul just, woo. I cannot watch that movie ever again because of that scene. Because of that scene. Bitch, Michael Ealy, you light-skinned devil. Light-skinned, blue-eyed devil. Bitch. Okay, I'm done. It just had a flashback, like it just does something, because bitch, it did something to my spirit. Asha comes in there trying to, talk to Sloan, talk to her mama about some shit. They're going to Boston and all this stuff. And she looking and seeing what happened to the room and all this stuff. I don't know. I don't even remember. So I'm just mentioning that, they had a little conversation. Okay. Oscar meets up with this detective dude. And he was basically like, so they exonerated Chase. Mind you, Chase said he was out of there either way. So now, technically, he's not on the run because he's no longer a suspect, because they got speeding camera that shows that, he was not in the vicinity of where Olivia was killed at their home. Olivia was killed around 10, I think they said 10:26, and the reason how they found that was her watch was broken and it stopped at that time. Okay, it stopped on that fall. All right. And then during the time that he was getting his parking ticket, he wasn't even in that area. So it would have took him a while to get there. So it couldn't have been him. So he got exonerated and all that stuff. We don't know where Chase is at this moment. Oscar is looking like, what the fuck? So now the detective basically telling him, you better get your shit together and make sure all your shit clean, because they finna reopen this case and they finna reinvestigate everybody. Okay. So Terrence is sitting in his room. Him and Galena probably had a night of fucking and all that stuff, passionate love making and all that, between them two. And he gets this text or this story comes to him saying that it's been leaked that he has a leg injury. It was like, who the fuck would do that? He said the only people that knew was Yelena and Derek. And Yelena was like, Derek wouldn't tell. Derek wouldn't tell. He got your back, and it's Zero that did it. And all you need to know is Zero been trying to take your spot from day one. He told me all of this, and Yelena spilled all the bills, all the beans. Okay. Then we have Zero and Jude. They meet up at the bar, and they're looking at, they're talking about what's going on, what they finna plan, all this stuff somehow. And then the news conference, it's not really important if I forget. What's important is the news conference played up there basically saying that Chase was exonerated. And so, they like, God damn, Drew, like, oh my God, I'm in some fucking trouble. And y'all know Zero knows already about the drugs that Derek was doing, and that Jude is the one that brought it to him. And I said, oh, what the fuck gonna happen? So Raquel comes up and she see the thing too, so she leaves and all this stuff, yada yada yada. So we get Lionel talking to Jude and basically was like, reading off them reviews about, her last movie, I think it was called Ecstasy or whatever, and how bad it flopped, to the point that the studio, the next two projects that she had with that studio, they axed it. It ain't even finna come out. They axed it. It ain't even finna come out or anything. And so, she's just feeling some type of way. And, you got Jew and Lionel feeling some type of way about shit that's going down. And, Derek, he's having Jill pull out these little baby Jordans or whatever. And I guess she was finna have a little boy. She did a little thing like Kelly Rowland did, stunning like my daddy. Now, y'all, somebody came out and said that, that she accidentally revealed the sex of her baby, saying that it was a boy. And I was like, well, she already put up on the Instagram stunning like my daddy and some dude, some little baby boy Jordans. Like, we already know. Okay, I'm just saying. Y'all stupid, y'all slow. But we get to Derek having these, and mind you, Lionel finna go over there to Pete, and I guess finna tell him about the fact that they're pregnant. Derek is having this interview, and they're asking about his contract being up, and where he's gonna go and all this stuff, and why they having it at the court. He was like, this is like my home. Zero is sitting there looking. Then Oscar comes up and basically was like, he was like, I thought I can get some more training in, some practice time. He said, you're gonna have to do it after Derek get through with this interview. And he was like, why he getting an interview anyway? So I look like you looking at the new king of the court or something like that. Either way, whatever the fuck it was that he said, Zero was not feeling it, and he damn near crushed that ball. So he gotta think of a master plan, because everything that he is doing and tried to work out in his plan is kind of falling apart a little bit. Yelena already know his secret. Now Terrence know what he up to. He fucking up with Jude and everybody, Derek and all that stuff. It's just crack crack. So Oscar in his office, all of a sudden, Cal walks in because, she like, I've been busy. Now I'm back. And he was like, okay, I'm trying to let you prove that you still one of my girls. If there's a respective claim that I need you to have a party with. And she was like, what type of party? He said any type of party that's going that you don't want nobody to see. That he gave her a bag of money, and he said you can buy all the coke and drugs and all this other stuff that you could buy with this money and have it recorded. And then she was like, okay, well, who the client? Derek fucking Roman. Basically trying to blackmail him into re-signing a contract with the Devils. I said, this motherfucker. This motherfucker. Anyway, so we move on. Sloan is in. And then the whole time, go back to Cal. I'm sitting here like, I know Cal would do anything for a buck and to try to prove, that she's not in on stuff and all this shit. She's not as dumb as she looks sometimes. But I was like, that is your girl. Are you really going to fuck this dude or fuck him over like that? That's what I was thinking the whole time when it came to her situation. So Pete and Sloan, they're in his office, talking and confessing their love to one another and apologizing, and they finally saying, I love you. Who's on the outside of the door? Lionel. She's out there, she hears these words, and she just have a little nervous breakdown. She goes into the bathroom, she's crying. Now, no shade, but I was like, is she about to abort this child now that she heard this stuff? And, Pete basically said to Sloan, I've never loved anyone the way that I loved you. Dagger through fucking Lionel's heart. She's just about to have this nervous breakdown, and she's looking in the mirror in the bathroom, and she just, like, I guess she started cramping real bad. And I'm going to assume that she literally just had either the beginning of a miscarriage or she miscarried right in there. That's what I'm going to assume, okay? Because then when she comes out the bathroom, Yelena is conveniently walking down the hall. Now, she just be everywhere at the right moment just to get the dirt without even trying. Conveniently, all the damn time. It just falls literally in her motherfucking lap. Okay? So she walking, and Lionel literally bumps into her so damn hard, and Yelena turned around, looked at her like, bitch, and she just kept on walking, and she threw them Jordans, them baby Jordans in the garbage can. Yelena looking like, And all the while, Yelena is fixing up a plan in her head already with that shit. And I said, damn, okay, you know. So we move on from that. And German is at the facilities, and then that girl, that reporter girl, all of a sudden she got a promotion, and she was trying to get all close to him and all this stuff, and he was like, how would it look that you here and you getting all this information? She was like, baby, come on, I'm not here getting information on you. The reason why I'm here is to be with you. And first he was trying to resist her and trying to stay to it, like, I know what you're trying to do, but he gave in and let the girl kiss all on. I was like, you ain't had no good pussy since Asha left, okay? That's probably what it is, and you don't realize how much you being played. This girl is in your life to plague you for some information, all right, and to get access, okay? And so he was like, okay, fine, whatever. In the locker room, Derek and Terrence, they having this conversation basically about how come the coach wasn't letting him out there play on the practice? Is his leg okay? How is he doing with the news that's being released? And I think that's when, Terrence basically told Derek to watch your back because Zero is here trying to take over the team. This pisses Derek off so bad that he goes to Jude. And he was like, you've been working with this motherfucker. What did you do? You went from being a fucking nobody to being this man's agent, and you driving around in the cars and all this stuff with his name on the pink slip. He was like, come on, man. We supposed to be in this together with each other alibis. He was like, get your own alibi, bitch. I was like, go ahead, Derek. Got Jules shook as fuck. He was over it. So, after that, Asha, they in Boston. They in for the finals, okay? And, you know, German and Asha, they meet up on, run into each other on the street. And they have a little reminiscing moment. They reminiscing and all this stuff and yada, yada, yada. Next thing you know, they have a little flash mob on Boston territory, the Devil Girls. And I was like, okay, it's cute, it's cute. I was like, boss, so you just gonna let them come up in there and be boss status on your shit like that? That's kind of fucked up. But all right. And they still lost the game. But the finals ain't over. And, Terrence was getting pissed off at Pete, like, why you ain't put me in the game, put me in the game longer. He was like, nigga, your leg fucked up. He was like, I don't give a fuck, and put me in there 100%. And then Derek vouched for him. And then you got Zero standing there trying to vouch for him too, because he know what the fuck he doing. So Pete was like, okay, get that shit iced up. You gonna be in there 100%. And as soon as he said that, he turned around and choked up Zero on the wall like, you know what? Win or lose this motherfucking game, I'm beating your motherfucking ass. He said, I'm finna put my foot so far up your bleach blonde head. Nigga, I was like, yes, go off, Terrence. Go off, Terrence. Because I want somebody to fuck Zero up. He's irking my spirit. But, after that, Sloan is on the phone. She looking at the YouTube clip of the girls doing a little flash mob. She calls because something that Asha said, I think Asha said when they was in there, when they was in Sloan's office. She said something about Yelena or whatever, and that's when Sloan started putting two and two together that she's the one that got the information. So she's on the phone with Yelena, telling her, as soon as y'all get back, I want to have a meeting with you in my office. Okay, well, have a meeting with you. At this exact moment, somebody knocks on the door. It's Lionel. Lionel comes in there. My lips are ashy or something. Y'all let me go this whole video, and it just seems like it. I don't. Excuse me, y'all. That's just kind of rude to be ashy lipped on the video. And I mean, okay, you know, I like to point shit out before y'all do, because y'all probably just go the fuck in. Like, bitch, I know, I apologize. But anyway, Lionel comes in to the door, and she talking to Sloan like, you know, when we got married, it was just me and Pete. But then all of a sudden, I used to hear so much about Sloan, and I didn't even know who you were, and saying that you were like the love of his life. And, you know, he used to tell me that I was paranoid. So I'm like, Lionel, I'm paranoid. And I'm like, bitch, come on now. She basically told Sloan that she hated her because it's always been her. She ruined her relationship. And I'm sitting here like, how you gonna hate Sloan when Sloan wasn't even talking to him at that time? Sloan didn't have no dealings with him at that time when y'all was married. And you know, you technically just realized that you was always number two. You were never number one. So you take that shit up with Pete, all right? This ain't Sloan's fault. She didn't try to come in and fuck up your marriage. Whatever was going on was between you and Pete. Not you, Pete, and Sloan. Okay? How dare you? How dare you? She had the audacity to come up in her house and try to curse her out. And Sloan was like, you're having a breakdown, so I suggest you to get the fuck out. All right? Get the fuck out. So now Lionel really can't stand Sloan at this moment. Okay. That's fine. So I apologize, y'all. I'm looking at the thing it's replaying, trying to make sure I cover all my bases because I don't really want to miss nothing. But if I miss something, I'm pretty sure y'all put it down in the comments. We got Derek in the house by himself, and you know he get this text. I don't remember who he got the text from, but it goes to this scene with Oscar and his son. Jude comes in there, and I guess he's feeling desperate at the moment. He feeling like he should just, you know, tell him what's going on since they finna reopen this case with Olivia. And Oscar was like, I already know. You met with Olivia. She had something on you. And you also gay. And you thought that you could come over here and, you know, confess your sins to me, and your just what's been going on and all this stuff, and, you know, thinking that I would accept you. You know, your mother, she was a very simple bitch. Okay, she couldn't hold on and grasp the fact that what I was trying to do and become. So she just moved on. You need to be like you trying to be like me, but you need to be like your mother and just move on. I said, wait a minute, and I knew what was coming. He said, "You're no son of mine," when he found out about the gay thing, and I was just like, "You's a cold-hearted bitch. You really are." But I did not, and I can't really be upset because looking at Oscar and giving the way that he is, I knew he wasn't going to accept him for being gay or whatever. And that's probably the reason why he was acting the way that he's been acting, you know, having him so standoffish. I want to understand the relationship that he had with Jude, because literally Jude came out of the blue. You know, his storyline, I think he was in first season, but his storyline now came out of the blue. And, you know, I guess the mother raised Jude and not Oscar or something like that. I don't know, but that's just wrong. And like one of my YouTube and Twitter followers said, you know, lately it's been like a rash of shows just showing you know, people rejecting their gay son or whatever and saying how late it is. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, it's been a trend. All of a sudden everybody want to do this. Like, we've seen this before. But I mean, it is what it is. It's just horrible. It was disgusting to see, but I was not surprised. I was like, damn, Oscar, you's a bitch. And I said, Jude, this is your opportunity to go team up with Sloan and be like, look, I'm in on it, okay? I'm in. He don't want me, I'm in. So he goes back to his crib and he go tell Zero. I'm like, why you sitting there telling this dude all this stuff? Giving your heart out. I'm sitting there like, Zero don't really care. Until Zero started telling him his little secret. You know, he gave him a little red envelope. He was like, okay, Olivia had some shit on you, but let me tell you something about me. I was in a foster care. You know, they used to call me Zero because they thought I would amount to nothing. So I took that and I made something out of it. So it can be a constant reminder. That's why I kept the name. Now, Drew asked him what his real name was. And I would have been like, oh, if he tell him his real name, he going to reveal his true feelings that he really do care for Drew. And he didn't do that. But, you know, they had their little heart to heart for a second. I said, wait a minute, Zero is kind of catching feelings. Is he? Or do he just need Jude to stay on his side? Okay. So, after that, Asha is practicing in the gym, the dance routine, and then Jeremy comes in, and at first I thought he was dreaming because she was like, you know, you could be my audience, and he sits down in the chair and she dancing all on him and damn near grinding, they damn near fucking, and they almost kissed, or they did kiss, and he was like, no, I got a meeting or something else to go to. Then all of a sudden he comes back and she's still practicing again, and he was like, no, fuck it, I canceled it, and they start banging. You know, and I was like, it was okay, but it didn't give me like Yelena and Terrence. Like, I was all into it, like I knew it. Look at that shit. It just gave me like two little kids trying to play grown up, trying to have sex. That's what it gave me a little bit. I don't know how y'all felt about it, but that's how I felt about it. Then Raquel sees Pete in the hallway, and I guess it's their first time really seeing each other because he don't come down to the club no more because he don't drink, and he was basically like, didn't know what to say to you, and I apologize for what happened, and if there's anything that you need me to do, you know, I'm there for you. Raquel was like, ding ding ding, I need you to marry me. I said, bitch, she don't know that him and Sloan is together, so therefore you trying to get married to him so you can stay in this country legally, get a green card or some shit. But after that, Sloan and Yelena meets up under the jumbotron in the arena. Yelena was like, "You're so dramatic under the jumbotron." Wow, come on now, Sloan. Sloan was like, "Where is it, Yelena? Give it to me." I was like, "Sloan, stop! You're letting her see you sweat, and she is thrive. This was make her thrive. She knows that she got people." When she could shake people and she don't even have to really do anything, it just makes Yelena a little bit stronger, and that is what she's doing. She is getting to y'all by y'all letting her get to y'all. You know what I'm saying? And she like, where's this evidence? This evidence of Oscar. This can mean we can prove that he killed Mia. You don't want to see him go down for that. And she was like, fuck it, bitch. I don't have the evidence no more. Who did you give it to? It was like, did you give it to Oscar? I'm not that dumb. I said, okay, Yelena. Who the fuck did you get stuff to? And she walking out, and you know, Sloan still calling after her. I said, damn, you played your card. You played your hand. You didn't know how to, you know, fake that shit or nothing. She know that you sweating bullets right about now. All of a sudden, Lionel comes into Oscar's office with the envelope and says, you know, for this you can get 30 plus years, and for this you can get 30 some years, and this you can get 15 years. Now, what you think like is you have a problem on your hand because, you know, and we both got the same problem on our hands, and we need to work together to get rid of it. I said, oh my God. Oh my God. Lionel has the goddamn evidence, and now they finna come together, and I'm pretty sure she's finna tell who did it, and they finna devise a plan to get Sloan out of there. All right. I was like, oh shit. The shit just got so fucking good because at the end, the detective, he gets this envelope with these pictures of Jude. I don't know if it was Jeremy, but I know Derek, I know Cal, and maybe some others, everybody, Yelena, all of them, meeting up with Olivia, and he with a letter that said, "I'm not going down for what somebody else did." So I'm like, did he really take part in this? Like, what the fuck is going on? But I have to backtrack a little bit because he did talk to Yelena. He called her into his office and was like, "Somebody is digging into me, some girl, and I need to know who it is. And is it you?" And she was like, "I trust and believe it ain't me, but somebody is doing something." And he had her shook because he told her that he knew that Olivia spoke to her and they had a heated exchange. I was like, damn, Oscar got to Yelena always. Then before we turn this off, Cal gets Derek to come over to the crib and tell him. I was like, oh my God, I know she's not going to sleep with him. But she was like, because I respect you and I like you, I'm not going to do what Oscar wants me to do. And she tells him all what Oscar wanted. And she was like, at first he wasn't trying to hear it and saying that I got clean hands. And she was like, no, you don't. And none of us do. But I got a plan if we work together that's going to, take care of this shit with Oscar. But what's going to happen is one of us need to leave LA. Who y'all think leaving LA? I don't think it's Derek. It might be Cal. But oh my God, the season finale is next week. What do you guys think is gonna happen? Who do you think killed Olivia? Do you think it's more than one person? I don't know. It could be a two-man job. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about it, and I will see you guys later. And they gooped the fuck out of us because Love and Hip Hop did not come on this week. It came on Thursday, and they played that same episode that came on Thursday tonight, bitch. Okay. And I just had to put that in there. I'll see y'all later. Peace. This video long as shit.